Hi friends, Kristy Rice here. Thank you for being here with me today. It is the, I think, much anticipated palette tour, my crazy, ridiculous, self-proclaimed ridiculous collection of watercolor palettes is going to be toured today. And I am a little scared because I think it's embarrassing. Let me just do a sound check, friends. And if you are watching this on the replay, I'm so glad you're here. We're all glad you're here because the conversation never stops in my comment sections. So just stick around and get ready to have some fun and ask some questions. Hello, Denny. Hello, Virginia, Marie. Hello. I'm so glad y'all are here. Let me know if the sound is okay. I'm so thrilled. Hello, Michelle. This is a rescheduled live, so I'm thrilled you're all here. But friends, the most important thing about today is this. I need you to know, unequivocally need you to know that you do not need as many palettes as I have. You need one palette. Let's be honest, you probably just really need like one tube of paint if you want to start this watercolor thing. You don't need all the fancy. I am just someone, I'm one of the people on this earth that is obsessed with watercolor supplies, and it's the thing that I collect. So there is absolutely no suggestion that you need to build up a collection. You definitely don't need to build up a collection like mine. But honestly, you don't even need 3 palettes or 4 palettes. It's super fun to have them, but I just want to get that out of the way because it's important. So today we're going to just see how this goes. Few things to know about me if you're new here. I am obsessed with watercolor. However, I am not a pigment nerd. This is not going to be, and there's nothing wrong with this, but this is not going to be a session where I'm comparing, you know, this pigment code from this brand and how this brand did it and how this brand named it and how that's weird and how these two, you know, pigments from 2 different manufacturers, they both say they're ultramarine, but this is definitely not ultramarine. No. My brain just doesn't function that way. So this is just going to be super fun. Here's my palettes. I'm going to maybe paint with them. If you see a color that you like, most of my palettes are half pans with magnets in them. I can pop them out, tell you what color I'm using. That's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to get right down to it. We're going to just like get right down to the painting table, friends, and just like have some fun because we need to have some fun, right? It's time. It's time to have some fun. Okay. This was actually, I was just in a one-on-one session. We were painting. This was all about like perspective and how to get petals to look like they're facing towards you. And so, yeah, that's actually what you're looking at in case you wanted to know. Friends, I love when you tell me where you're from and where you're hanging out from. So keep it coming. I'm going to try to answer questions. So let's see. Lisa from North Carolina. Hello from Toronto. My own productions. Yeah, getting the most out of a basic 12 color palette. I think that's so amazing. Beautiful Rose. Gina says, thank you. Thank you so much. I did have fun with this one for sure. I'm going to get some paper ready. I've got some Academy just sitting in front of me. So I'm going to have that at the ready in case we want to use it and talk about it. So this first palette I have sitting here. So when you do a one-on-one session with me, I ask you, like, what supplies do you want to use? And today's student wanted to use Winsor Newton. So this is the first palette I'm going to talk about, friends. And if you've been around for a hot minute, you know that I love to create my own palettes in vintage tins. It's something I just adore. I think I picked this one up recently because in the last like 6 months, I expanded. I actually think I have to transfer this to a new tin because I still have some colors that I need to add. So this is my Winsor & Newton collection. You will find me organizing my palette differently from brand to brand. There is no rhyme or reason to it except my own brain and I have a very unique kind of relationship with my colors depending on brand. And so sometimes I'll start the warms up here, and sometimes I will start the cools up here. And it just, I have a hard time even explaining why, but in my brain, it makes sense. With the way that I paint with particular brands, it makes sense. So don't come at me. What do you do with your paints and brushes at the end of the session? I really do try to leave my palette open for a little bit. If I'm traveling, I will sadly have to kind of soak up kind of the juiciness so that it doesn't run in my bag, and then close it and get on with life. But I do try to let it cure back to normal. And now my brushes, I'll be honest, friends, I am very hard on my brushes. Let me show you. This is a little tray. I have it lined with paper towel. It actually needs to be changed. I rinse my brushes twice when I'm done for the day. And then I lay them flat to dry. There's usually not quite as much, like all the markers and pencils aren't usually on here. But I just finished, like, this is what it usually looks like after I do a one-on-one session. So I usually don't have all this on. Like, there's a colored pencil on here, like super random. But then I lay them flat to dry. And that's kind of what I do. Hopefully that's helpful. Finally got Winsor Newton 12 5 ml tubes. Yes, it's pricey, but very nice. Mission Gold and Schmincke and Paul Rubens are my favorite. Yes. When are you releasing the next brush set? That's a great question. I'll tell you what, friends, it's very timely that you might ask that question, because I just got a message from Customs, and both of my new set and the travel brush are currently stuck in Customs, which is really a pain in the butt. So anywho, sometime in February is my goal. So I'm just going to do a little something here with the Winsor Newton, and try to answer some questions, because, you know, I think that would be fun for sure. I love Winsor Newton. Winsor Newton is my first watercolor love. I am using my big old, the new dagger that's coming out. Oh, thank you, Gina. I'm glad you like my palette as well. Hello, Janie. Virginia says you've started conditioning and cleaning your brushes every couple of days. I'm curious about your experience with that. So you'll have to come back and tell me if you feel that is something worth your time and worth your while. I'm really hard on my brushes, and so yeah, I could certainly stand to be maybe conditioning my brushes as well. I'm not gonna lie. Anywho, a little bit of Winsor and Newton action. I'm just gonna go ahead and label these as we go today. Any questions about Winsor and Newton? I'm going to get moving on to the next palettes, because, friends, we got a lot to cover, and I'm not even sure we're going to get through all of them today, but I'm certainly going to try. So let me know if you have any questions about Winsor and Newton before hello, Linda from Spain. I do have Karataki. Yep. Absolutely. We'll be getting there. We will be getting there. All right, friends. So I am going to continue on. I'm going to start. I have a cart in my studio, 3 tiers. My top tier is my professional, my super uber fancy professional paints. And then the middle tier are my handmades, and the bottom tier are my budget. And so this is Holbein. This is my Holbein. I went through about a 3-year period where all I painted with were Holbein. Can you hear me now, friends? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That is so weird. I don't know why it did that. How's the sound now? Yes. Okay, great. Super, super weird. I don't know what's happening. But anywho, this is my Holbein palette. I've been waxing poetic for this whole time, not knowing there was no sound. Yay, super weird. But Holbein has a ton of convenience colors, which I adore so much. I find that they don't travel as much, like dispersion wise. They don't travel as much, but I've never really cared because they're just so fun. I'm going like really just, I'm making marks, having fun. Holbein. Cool. Let me answer some questions. Now it's back. Love that paint box. Thank you. Yay. All right, good audio and video. Awesome. No sound. I'm honestly thinking somebody called and I thought I was on like do not disturb, but apparently I was not. All right, moving on, friends. This one is embarrassing. This palette is probably my most embarrassing. It seriously is. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this crazy. That great purple. All right, let me go back because I promised that I would pull out colors and tell you what they were. Let me go back. We had a question about the great purple. I have a palette knife ready for this because I am going to go in there. I'm going to dig her out. She is, oh, dang it. So for my Holbein palette, she is number 317. So just look up Holbein 317 and you will find it. I remember this now. For some reason, I decided to use the numbers on these particular ones, but Holbein 317 is that lovely purple that I was using. So you can go ahead and take a gander at that. Yay. All right. I know there's a lot of ambient noise because of all these tins in my chair, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. Holy palette colors, Batman, right? I know it's ridiculous. This is my Schmincke palette. Yes, this is my, I think, let me just double check. Yes, this is my Schmincke. So I need to spray her down. So this top row of my Schmincke are the pastels, and then I get right into the granulating bad boys. I have all, what is it, 40 of them? I know, I'm ridiculous. And then my collection of the quote unquote normal Schmincke. The pastel are Academy, so they're student grade, but honestly, I find them to be spectacular in terms of quality. And then, yes, I think we're still in the granulating zone here. Let's just kind of play with that and see. Schmincke, another palette that I spent a good deal of time with over the years. There's just something about the color, the intensity. I love that Schmincke started releasing their granulating. And one way to really get granulating pigments to do their thing is to push them around, add water, remove, lift, do all the things. Yes, I would love if you use more purple. I know purple is actually my least favorite color, but I need to like get over it. I need to get, I have a question about ingredients of your Pay for Joy's sake watercolors. How do I find out? I have to know because of allergies. If you go on my community, I actually wish I had listed the ingredients on the packaging. It was something that I very quickly regretted. But I did list the ingredients in a community post on YouTube here. So if you look around there's not that many community posts, but I list all the pigment numbers. And the binder is gum arabic. And so they are vegan friendly. Nothing toxic, but you can go ahead and look for that community post and find everything you need there. And if you have additional questions, please let me know. Let me see here. Other questions. Granulated colors. Yes. Now, I'm not an expert on granulating colors, but what I believe it is, basically the visual effect is when you lay down a color, a granulating color, as you start to push that pigment around on the page with water, as it starts to dry, the pigment particles separate and reveal themselves. I believe that it is the pigment particles are larger. Somebody can you please confirm that in comments? I would love if you could confirm that for me. And so what happens, I'm going to bring this down just a skosh. So what happens is what's revealed as it dries, and you can really start to see it right here, you get texture. The texture is actually the pigment particles revealing themselves and coming to the surface as they dry. So, confirm, but I'm no expert. Yes. Sound is back. Yes, sound should be back. Let me just double check. I don't know what's going on up here with this, but it's kind of ticking me off with my internets and whatever with the sound today. But that is really fast and loose explanation. I mean, look at that blue. Like, that is just stupid gorgeous. Like, seriously, Schmincke? Come on now. Whew. Schmincke. I have to remember how to spell it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I've heard some reviews of Schmincke, like, saying that it's a little weird in, like, bigger washes. I've never had an issue with bigger washes in Schmincke. Are there other colors that granulate? Oh, yes, there are naturally granulating colors. I believe one of the like naturally granulating lapis lazuli, I believe, is a granulating. What else is granulating, friends? Call it out. I think one of the, is it burnt umber? Again, I'm so bad. But if you know of any of the naturally granulating colors, you want to call them out, please. Oh, here we go. PBK 11 is great. I don't know what PBK 11 is, but that's why we're all different. There's all different kinds of people on the earth because, yes, we complement each other. Oof, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Schmincke, I love you so much. I started with, originally, I purchased the 48 set of Schmincke years ago, and it was like $300, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I just painted the living daylights out of it. And then last year, yes, I will. Last year, Mars Orange got it. I added to this palette and kind of brought all of my colors together. This used to be my Mission Gold tin. So we're going to move on. Let's see what I grab next. I think this is actually, yeah, this is also a Winsor Newton palette. Just some of my favorites that I can easily grab and travel with. So, I mean, we've got like your ceruleans and your Naples and your cobalt turquoise, dark and lights, and opera, which opera rose up there needs some refills. This is one of the things that people complain about Winsor Newton is that they kind of dry out and crack. And I don't know. I don't need my pans to look gorgeous. I just need them to re-wet and do their thing. That's how I feel about it, to be quite honest. Like, and you've seen, like, my pans, I do not spend a ton of time making them look perfect. Oh, Potter's Pink. I love Potter's Pink. All right, some granulating colors: Lunar Black, Ultramarine, Turquoise, Potter's Pink, Mars Orange. There we go. There we go. Pencil tins work great to make palettes. Absolutely. All right, I'm grabbing another one. I have no idea. Oh, yes. This is my Daniel Smith? No. Wait, what's happening? What palette is this? Yeah, this is my Daniel Smith. Isn't she pretty? Now, I do not deal with all, like the Daniel Smith. What are the ones that are shimmery? I don't do those. You know how I feel about shimmery. Friends, if you're watching on the replay, let me know. Do you love shimmer in your watercolors? Have you tried Daniel Smith? How do you feel about it? I know a lot of controversy and there was a lot of uproar in the industry about some of their claims with light fastness. And so some folks have sworn off Daniel Smith. I understand that. But I still love them because you know me, I have some workarounds with light fastness that have worked really well for me. So I don't worry too much about it. I love shimmer, but I've never tried Daniel Smith. I love my Daniel Smith Amethyst. Yes. Primatex. Those are the ones that shimmer. Correct. Yes. I bleed shimmer. My kids tease me. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, double loading. Someone asked about double loading. I'm going to go in here with this turquoise, and I'm going to double load me with some, I need something. I want something obvious. Some red. And this is going to create a little bit of mud. But, oh, the red, just look at that. It just swallowed up that turquoise. That's crazy. Crazy. Look at that. It just swallowed her up. So we're going to lift some of that out, and I'll double load with something else. This is why it's so fun to, I thought it was actually going to go a little purple, knowing what I know about these two colors, but it went more muddy. It was too much, the formulations were too much opposites on the color wheel. So it went muddy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We will double load with some yellow. Let's see what happens. Nice. Nice. There we go. Daniel Smith. So let me see why I love Daniel Smith. They seem to have formulations that are just so daggone curious. Like Moon Glow and the granulating and Cascade Green and like their indigos and their Payne's Gray and like there's just so many colors with Daniel Smith that are so persnickety and curious. And honestly, it was very much what I was thinking about when I developed my own palette. I was like, I want a persnickety palette, right? Ooh, look at that orange next to there. So pretty. So I wanted persnickety, and that's what I feel like Daniel Smith does really well. Really, really well. Let's see here. Answering some questions. Arteza shimmers, easy to overdo. Honey can work. Glycerin. Yep. Love anything Paul Rubens. I'm working on that big review. Sorry, right brain, left brain clash there. Big review video coming up on Saturday, fingers crossed. And I got the new Paul Rubens gemstone set in there, and I will give you a little teaser. It's lovely. So look at that. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. All right, moving on. I do love this tin. Isn't she lovely? She's so pretty. What a great color story on that tin. This is my, oh my gosh, core. This is my core palette. One of my favorite tins. I just love all the little kiddos doing their thing and the birds and the dogs, and it's just so fun. So fun. Oh, Holbein is so yummy. Yes. Which orange did you just use from that palette? I knew someone was going to ask me because it's stupid gorgeous. So let's get in there, dig her out, and see what I used. Dang it. Which one was it? Where did I go? Oh, it was this one. Yeah. Let's dig her out and see what she is. She is, it's a sienna. Hold the phone. Oh my gosh, I'm making a mess everywhere. Quinacridone Sienna. Quinacridone Sienna. That's what she is. Gorgeous. So this one, Quinacridone Sienna. Gorgeous. All right, Core. What do we love about Core? She moves like ink. She moves like ink. And Core has got one of the best and closest pinks to Opera Rose that is more light fast. I don't know if I have that one actually. I forget which one that is. That's not it. Does anybody remember? It's a magenta, I think. And it's very close to Opera, but more light fast. Yeah, I don't remember. Anywho, like, watch her move. Watch her groove. Watch her move. Watch her groove. She cray. Crazy. Like, look at it. It's like flipping ink. Lots of cool, funky Cole Medina science. I think that's her. I think that's her. Let me dig her out. Oh, I might have. Some of my palettes I glued in with like caulking, like a ding ding. Core. Yes. It's going to be a messy day, y'all. It's going to be a messy day. And some of these I wrote on the colors with orange Sharpie, like a ding dong years ago. And now they're fading. And I can't read them. Yeah, I don't know what color that is. She's faded. Anyhow. And she's almost empty, which that's going to be really interesting. Friends, these are sometimes the fault lines of being a free spirit. Yeah. Yeah. You're seeing my cracks. You're seeing my cracks. It's okay. I work through them. Taking a look at questions, friends. If you're here on replay, let us know. Say team replay. All right. Oh my God, alive. That's right. Paper and ink spot. Core will be my next purchase. Good purchase. Yes. Core are explosively exciting. That is a fantastic way to describe them. Absolutely. Core Oxgall. Interesting. Yeah, quinacridone colors. I remember when they first started releasing quinacridone colors. Listen to me. I remember when, but I do. And it was so flipping exciting. If I'm not mistaken, like quinacridone colors were like a new thing in like what, the 90s at some point, right? Because I just feel like I remember my art teacher, Sue Hand, I was still in high school, and she was like, oh my gosh, quinacridone. And I'm like, huh? What? But yeah. Phthalo turquoise, baby. So good. Core, expensive. I mean, it's very comparable to other professional brands like Daniel Smith, etc., etc. What's happening here? I know I have more. What is this one? What is this one? This little lovely is my M Gram. I've had M Gram for years, but I redid it in this teeny tiny little palette, which was dumb because of the honey. And yeah, it just is. The M Gram needs more room to move. So I wish honestly, like, I feel like a Pike palette would be the best thing for M Gram, but you know, you live, you learn. My first introduction to M Gram, I only had like 5 tubes. And so it was in a smaller palette, but it actually had quite large wells. Anyhow, it's okay. Use these up. I remember when I even made this palette, I think I made it for a video here. And I was like, well, I'll just use these up and remake it if it doesn't work. And that's what I'm going to do. There's such a lusciousness to M Gram. Anybody else an M Gram fan? Ooh, say that 5 times fast. I want a bigger brush. I want a bigger brush. I don't care. I'm just going to work it out. Work it out. There's nothing I love more than just watching watercolor do its thing when you just let it let the colors interrupt each other. Even when you're making a mess, which I'm doing right now. It's just, it's therapy. It's therapy. Yes, Ganzi Tambe are great. I included them in my recent review. The thing about them, and honestly, friends, if you've been with me for a while, you know I've been recommending them for years for beginners, but I've actually stopped recommending them because they are a Japanese watercolor and they are made to be painted with in a very different way. Japanese watercolor more opaque. They are made with, instead of gum arabic, they are made with animal glues, honey, different things, and they are meant to be used in one layer on rice paper. And so they don't glaze well, they don't layer well, and they can, for beginners, actually be a little frustrating for some. So some folks absolutely love the recommendation and have been using them for ages. But I have stopped recommending them out of just complete cautiousness. And yeah. So this palette is a Kremer palette from the little shop in NYC, and I think there's one somewhere, Germany. I don't know. There's not many of them, I don't believe. And this was when I discovered Kremer back in like 2012. I walked into a shop. I was in New York City for something else, and I was like, there are jars of pretty pigments in the window. I am really done for. And so I walked in and discovered Kremer and raw pigments, and I started making my own pigments that far back in my journey here. And so this palette became a combination of my own pigments that I was, mulling and turning into paint. And this palette is a complete, just, there's everything in here. Kremer, there's Daniel Smith, because for a long while, this is the palette, besides my original Pike palette, which I can't show you my original Pike palette because my original Pike palette is in Utah. I have it there for folks to use if they visit our house there and they want to just mess around with watercolor, because my original Pike palette is full of Cotman watercolor. So I can't show her to you. But my whole team uses Pike palettes. We have about 10 Pike palettes up at the studio. So my whole team uses them. And you want a palette that gives you a lot of room to move. A Pike palette is it. All right, these are some of my handmade watercolors. And you can just see some of the love affairs I've had with some of these colors over the years. Because they are just, I dug a hole in them. I just dug a hole in them. Yes, Gunze are a great, great value. I like them, but don't feel as creamy as my Holbein. Yeah, they're definitely not as creamy as Holbein, but they are opaque. My Kiritaki get muddy. Yeah, that does, and that's why. Yeah. Rinsing your brushes. Swish, jab, up and down. No, swish. I just swish. Like, I've never hit the bottom. I very rarely hit the bottom. Some paints, especially mixed with honey, attract houseflies. Oh, in Texas. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Keep the questions coming, friends. If you're having a good time, would you go ahead and give this video a boop, friends? That's a like. Really helps out my channel. Y'all know that I was, going for the lofty goal of hitting 100,000 subs before the end of 2022. I was pretty sure that wasn't going to happen, and it didn't, but you know what? I don't care. It's okay. It was just a silly, silly little goal, but of course, I'd like to try to make that happen in 2023. And honestly, the most important reason is because I just want to find more people like y'all who want to learn watercolor the joyful way. I want to find you out there. And when you boop a video that you're enjoying, that helps folks find this channel. So yeah, If you could give this a boop, I'd appreciate it. We've got, how many people we got here? We got 195 people here. 195. Get the heck out of town. We only have 3 likes. Y'all. Oh, those are Facebook likes. I'm sorry. Because this is also going to Facebook. So hit the like button, friends. I will love you forever. Love you forever. Pike palette. Really good question. I don't have one here today, I don't think. So a pike palette is a large, it's about, I would say, 16 inches long, maybe like 8 or 9 inches tall, about a 1/2 inch deep. It's got a lid, and it's made of that like white plastic material. It does yellow over time, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. And then there's these big wells all around 3 sides, right? And the wells each are probably like 2 by 1.5 large wells. Great if you know, big brushes. And there is just infinite, it feels like infinite mixing space. It's wild. But it's a huge palette. You can travel with it, certainly, but it's going to take up a lot of space. So I gravitated away from pike palettes after high school. A pike palette is what my teacher used, what she loved and what she recommended, but I started traveling. And so I went to more of this style, and that has become my go-to. I still can't paint with a dagger brush. I just watch you totally mesmerized. I can't find the boop button. Oh, if you're watching me on TV, you won't find the boop button. I don't believe you can boop on TV. But if you're watching on a phone or on a computer, it should be just underneath the main like screen. What the heck are these? These are new. I can tell. I haven't painted with these a lot. Oh, yes. Old Holland. Old Holland. I did a video on these. This tin has held so many of my different paints. I do a lot of like removing, like switching tins, because I'm always evolving my collection. So this, I forget, this at some point was my case for making, and then it became something else, and then finally at this point we're at Old Holland. So don't know much about Old Holland. I picked up a couple. I did pick up a lot of their like more opaque tints, which I slightly regret, but like I never fully regret actually investing in paint. So I say that very, very cautiously. I wish I would have picked up a few of more of their single pigment options, but you know, there's always tomorrow. 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 I'll get more tomorrow. Anywho, wow. You know what that means, right? If I'm singing. Who's been here long enough to know what it means when I start singing? It means I'm having myself a good time. Yep. So these are lovely. There's lots of creaminess going on in these. I also feel like I didn't get the right colors overall to properly like speak to these and review them. So they've kind of been on my like mental back burner until I like get myself together and get a better variety of these colors. I just got completely like drawn in by the pretty convenience colors, because I am a sucker for different formulations of convenience colors. So, but look at how look at the traveling, y'all, the dispersion. And let me tell you what, they wash beautifully. Like that was effortless. Like that yellow washed into that green, no cauliflowering, no nothing. And I didn't have anything to do with it. They just did it for me. Just gorgeous. Really lovely paints. Lovely, lovely, lovely. What does it say? I would love if you did. Oh my gosh, I love Annie. You know what my favorite scene? Okay, let's share our favorite scene in Annie while I keep going through these. Mine is when Grace does the song, We Got Annie. And she's in that yellow chiffon. Is it chiffon? I don't know. And she's dancing and she's got those nude heels on. And she's just so beautiful and elegant. And oh, it's my favorite scene. She's like the, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, farm flies. Let's see. Do you have any Derwent or Daler and Rowney? Are they way out of the league? I have Daler and Rowney inks. We use them in our studio almost every day. Derwent, I just reviewed Derwent's Ink Tense palette. Not a fan. They're actually not really watercolors, from what I can gather. Not a fan. No bueno. But hopefully we'll get there. We might have to do a part 2 because, y'all, I got a lot of paints. It's kind of ridiculous. Actually, I've already said that. It is ridiculous. Oh my gosh! My like stack of tins are falling down. Oh, this is a Kremer fluorescent set. Oh, I haven't played with you in forever. Oh, a lot of these were replaced because I used them all. So don't be deceived. I actually, these are like a second pass on a lot of these colors. Oh, I miss you. But I got to say, I have a new favorite of fluorescent. And that's in my, my handmade collection by Case for Making. Just incredible fluorescence. So good. I am just doing simple daisy, like super like stylized daisies today. Hopefully it makes sense for obvious reasons, just because I'm playing around and talking, and these are something easy for me to paint while I'm distracted otherwise. The pigment load on Kremer fluorescents isn't the best, except for that blue. As you can see, the pigment load otherwise is like, I've used better. So, yeah. So I'm going to just, I have to put Old Holland and Kremer. I love sketching through wet watercolor. You know I do. Yeah, singing. I would love if you did another video of the little images. Kind of ATG. I keep missing that one. They're not watercolors, right? I was told by the shopkeeper of an art store. Yeah. They don't function like water. See, here's the issue I have with them though. There's so much about them that functions like watercolors, but I just want to ask the people at Derwent, I want to be like, then what are they and what are their purpose? Because they honestly, like, they dry dull, like the color shift when they dry is ridiculous. I think they're full of optical brighteners. I'm just like, nah. They're ink. I don't know. They're ink, but I think they're full of optical brighteners. They have like a finish that comes to the surface when they dry. I don't know. They're weird. My smallest watercolor palette. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her. I got it. I got it. I know. Well, actually, I have one that is my smallest that's currently filled. But I also have one that is empty and is waiting to be filled that's even smaller. Oh my heavens to Betsy. Am I going to be able to find her? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, wait. There she is. Team Replay, thank you so much for tolerating all the crazy, horrible sounds of this video because of me rolling around in my chair. But here's, I think this is my smallest currently. This is my little, and these were, gosh, were they Paul Rubens fluorescents? They were all like opera colors, opera yellow, opera orange, opera blue, opera green. I got them on AliExpress. I don't know. I can't remember if they were Paul Rubens, so don't quote me. But I've got a thing for fluorescence. The pigment load on these much better than Kremer. Here's some opera purple. Like, I remember I did a TikTok when I found when these came in the mail, and I was like, because sometimes on AliExpress you can't see, like, the pictures aren't the greatest. And I remember when I saw opera was in front of every single color name, I've just about lost my mind, because opera rose is one of my favorite colors ever and ever, amen. Even though I'm not a pink girl, but like, whatever. I'm just gonna put Paul Rubens ? Because I don't remember. But that's the smallest. Okay, Kremer, bye-bye. This is my blocks mixing palette. that I bought for myself as a personal challenge, mixing palette, single pigment colors. I believe what it is we have a warm red and a cool red, a warm blue and a cool blue. And then they added two browns. I think one's a burnt sienna and a raw sienna maybe. And then I forget, but you've got your, is it also a warm yellow? I don't know, but this is a traditional mixing palette. And I'll be very, very frank with you. I don't know everything there is to know about a traditional like beginner mixing palette because I don't buy into the whole like you have to learn how to mix colors like a scientist to be a good painter in the beginning. It's just not my jam. So, but I did buy this because I wanted to learn more about mixing palettes. Yes. And Blocks was supposed to be a really great brand. I mean, yeah, they've got some loveliness going on. And I like the European palette style. The pigment load on this brown, I was like, what is happening? I've tried this in another video. Yeah, the pigment loads on these are like just really weird. As is that flower. Paul Rubens gemstone that I reviewed for the upcoming video is this European style travel palette. Really cool. I'm just a little bit of a sucker for that palette style. So, Blocks. Yep. All right. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We got a mess. All right. These are my Mary Blue. The radio music scene. That's a good one too. Split. Thank you. A split primary. Thank you for the love. I haven't tried. Oh my gosh, the comments are going by so fast. I can't keep up with them. I haven't tried Opera Rose, but Permanent Rose, Quinachrome PV19 from Da Vinci is super bright and lovely. So I'm assuming on that the Quinachrome from Da Vinci is not fugitive. PV19. Nice, Marianne. I do. Oh, Altoid tins. Yes, to make little palettes. Love that. Yes, very pretty wee palette. Thank you. It is adorable, right? Yeah. I'm hoping you will do Rosa Gallery, Studios or Studline. Yes, well, Myra, you'll be thrilled to know that Rosa Gallery was one of the 12 that I reviewed in the upcoming video. And it actually, I'll just let you in a little secret. I picked 3, my top 3, and Rosa was one of them. So, how did I do that? I just put that comment up and I didn't mean to. Oh, look at that. Okay. Anywho, thank you, replay friends, for dealing with my lack of a behind the scenes assistant, and I'm doing weird things. So I'm so glad you're still here. Maybe now would be a good time to say what you adhere the pans down these days, how you mark them. Okay. So, okay. I just got that joke. It would be a good time because clearly. So the reason that this is a hot mess is because some of these I made myself from tubes. When I ordered my sampling of my Mary Blue, I mistakenly ordered some pre-made half pans, which I don't normally like to do. And then I ordered, as I expected, some tubes. And when they came in, I was like, OMG, what did I do? So I typically put the little round, really strong magnet inside and then fill on top with the paint, which is what I did for the ones that came as tubes. And then these came and I'm like, great. Now I have to put the junky, I have yet to find a good kind of sheet format magnet that you can cut down that is strong enough. So I got frustrated. I actually did not love these paints. I got frustrated with my whole situation in that I like mistakenly ordered pre-made half pans because I don't like to do that. because I'm always suspect that, you know, the pre-made half pans have more fillers in them than what comes out of the tubes. And oh my gosh, like, I'm sorry, I'm being super annoying right now. But anywho, only 2 of these have a magnet. I'm trying to sandwich them. So that is the story about that. So I use really super strong magnets. If anybody wants to pop up my Amazon page link, if you know it, I have a whole section there. It's called Making Your Own Palette. And I use those little magnets. I've used all different brands. I've never had any rust or give me any issues. So, and then I feel on top of that, I will use a palette knife to kind of tamp down and kind of swirl and remove air bubbles. And then I'll let them cure. Sometimes I'll add another layer depending. And I prefer now white half pans. I did some messing around with clear. That was a bad idea. And I now exclusively use black fine point Sharpie pen to mark the sides of the half pans. So this color was luscious. This one is cold. This was one of the ones I actually really liked. It's their Payne's Gray, which I thought was interesting. Their Payne's Gray I found to be very, very blue. I don't know the pigment numbers on this one and what's involved with it. Yeah, they don't tell you there. But anywho, very, very curious Payne's Gray, I think, personally. But that is the story. I'm sticking to it. Yeah, check out my Amazon page. You like Marquee? Yeah, I should design a set of markers and call them Marquees. Awesome, Tammy. Isn't it fun making your own palette? I love putting the magnets inside the pan, honestly, because I use vintage tins. I don't like the extra height that doing otherwise, like putting it on the outside, causes. And I like it to be more stable. Sometimes putting the magnet on the outside creates an unstable half pan, if that makes sense. I feel like I need to give these paints a second look. I feel like maybe I was not using 100% cotton paper. Because I don't know, right now in this lovely moment here with you lovely people, I am like, ooh, I'm liking these. I'm feeling the love. So I don't know what my issue was when I first tried them. Okay, these are not going back in the bin. They are going off to the side to remind me to give them a second look. Let's see if I can remember how to spell. Yeah, I don't know if that's right, but it's okay. That's really lovely. Lovely. Inside, yes. Mayberry Blue, Jennifer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Are they Italian or French? There was this whole thing where I did a TikTok and I said they were from the wrong place. So they're either Italian or French. My guess is French, given the name, but maybe that was the confusion. Oh my gosh, I'm babbling. Friends, if you're still here and I'm not annoying you yet, go ahead and give this video a boop. That's a like. It would mean so much to me because I'm your crazy artist friend here. All right, this is a combo palette. There's so much going on in here. Winsor Newton, handmade. So much going. I want to remember what this is. I'm going to be able to remember it as soon as I can tell by the texture that it's handmade before I really knew what I was doing, that I didn't mull it enough. This one's handmade because I didn't mull it enough. And the pigment load is trash. Kristy Rice, what were you doing? But it's going to granulate. This one's going to granulate. Look at that. There she is. So fun. So fun to kind of create your own pigment combinations and see what happens. So fun. Anywho, yeah, there's definitely a mix of Winsor Newton and handmades in here. Sometimes earlier in my journey, in my mid 30s, I was just very experimental. And I actually was on this journey to kind of find my favorite 100 paints and quickly lost interest in that. But That's why I have a lot of these mixed palettes, because I was like kept reorganizing palettes, and like this one I was like testing out this combination and I was traveling with it and yada yada yada. Didn't mull it enough. So with paint making, you have a big piece of glass, and you have a mulling tool, isn't it? What's it called? Not a brayer. That's for printmaking. I forget what it's called, but it's a big glass piece that has a handle and it's flat on the bottom. And you put your pigment down. This is the way I would do it. I would put the, the dry organic pigment down. I would usually add a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of water to kind of start releasing those pigment particles, to turn it into a kind of an awkward paste. And then you'd start adding different things. Glycerin, I would add honey. I added clove oil, gum arabic. And then when you've got this syrupy stuff going on, you mull it. And you mull it. I mean, sometimes you got to mull it for like hours, depending on the pigment. Is it like a crucible? I think so. Pestle. It's like a kind of, but like a flat. It's big. I don't have one here. They're all at the studio, my other studio. So anyway, that's mulling. You grind and grind, and you're just making those pigment particles finer and finer and finer. And it's for some it's a cathartic process. Made in Italy. See, I find that odd for how it is. See, there's my confusion, because it feels like a French name, but they're made in Italy. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the clarification. All right, let's see what's next. Boop, boop, boop. Friends, I don't think we're getting through all the palettes today. I just don't think it's going to happen. This is my Sennelier. Why isn't she opening? What's happening? What? I hate to do that, but something is seriously stuck. Okay, watch me slice my hand open. Let's see here. I don't know what. Oh, there's something in here. The pigment dried. Cannot get her open. Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened. All right, Sennelier, it was a pre-made set, and then I added a few tubes that I just squeezed in. Sennelier is wonderful for glazing, layer after layer after layer. They do a lovely job. Lovely, lovely. Let's see. Sennelier has never been an absolute 100% favorite of mine, but there's no doubt they are quality. And choosing paint is a lot like choosing your clothing. It's an expression of you. You can see the clarity, though. I mean, just the absolute clarity in these colors, which makes sense that they would glaze. Colors that are more opaque have white pigment blended in, convenience colors. They will glaze. They just glaze in a different way and create very different effects from traditional glazing that is meant to create luminosity. So just something to think about. I think there's some quins up here. This feels very quin to me. Nice. Let's take a look at question. Kristy, do you have any male art supplies or just female? Oh my gosh. Best question ever. I think they're all female. Best question ever. I think they're all female. I did a challenge on sunrise and sunsets. I painted a big glass of tequila sunrise. Nice. Please do not slice your hand open. No, everything, all is well. My cars all get pointing. The paint's glued it shut, I think. No gender for paints. Too funny. I don't know why. Question, is that Winsor the Cotman? No, I have not used Cotman today. All of my Winsors that I was using were professional series. I have Cotman, but She's down on the bottom. Okay, Cotman would be male. Cotman needs to be he. I don't know why I do that. Just, you know, this is another paint I need to revisit. I'll tell you what, friends, I'm just going to say it. If you're a paint collector like me, this is so worth doing. I actually mentioned this on TikTok this week. Like, pull out what you have and just play around with them very quickly, because I have discovered now 2 palettes that I want to revisit and reconsider. My Mary Blue and my Sennelier. So just, yeah, just do yourself a favor. If you've dismissed something before, go back to it. Can I just talk about the fact right now that this Sennelier appears to be granulating? What? All right. Is that an ultramarine? What is this? No, that's not an ultramarine. That's also not a cerulean. I don't know what that is. That's really bright. Anyhow, that's going in the look at me again pile. All right. So we've covered a lot of grounds. I'm feeling like that is, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I feel like something's missing. And in my, those are my professional. That was like my professional bin. And like my classic professionals. I know Rosa is professional, but I kind of categorize them differently. So I guess what time is it? Anybody got a time check? Holy moly, this is just a crazy fun time. Are we having a good time? Is this fun? I need to know. And I want you to be straight up honest with me. Like, is this palette tour fun? Is it helpful? Yeah. I need to know. So let me know. Let me know. I got a new Flourish Tim Holtz stencil. It's beautiful. Use watercolor to stencil. Ooh, watercolor to stencil. Roman, somebody help me pronounce that. The Roman paints. I don't have them yet. And then the new guy, it's a UK, Michael something. I've got those in a shopping cart online somewhere. So yeah, Marie says yes. Kristy paint, you are missing you and missing me. My first live. I'm so excited. I'm so glad. I am painting. I promise. This is wonderful. Wondering if you ever use semi-moist like White Nights or Sonnet. I have not used White Nights or Sonnet. Actually, I was trying to get my hands on White Nights to use in my review. My review video that I've been working on for 2 weeks. And they are impossible to get right now. I imagine has something to do with, you know, all the things. So having a really impossible to get quickly. So there was that. Let's move on to, not sure I care what time it is. Let me know what questions you have. So fun, mind-bendingly fun and educational. Dang, okay. All right, you're on my husband's hit list. Oh, I want to buy some additional palettes now. So hard to get White Nights. Okay, Virginia, thank you for confirming that for me, because I was thinking, like, what is my problem? Why can't I find these? But yeah. Yeah, they seem to be, something's going on there, which makes sense. All right, friends, here's what I'm going to do. Here is what I'm going to do. Because I do feel like I want to give my whole heart and soul to these palette tours. I don't know what I was thinking that I could get through all of these. So what I'm going to do is give you a little peek at what's coming up in this coming weekend's video. And then I am going to go live again on Monday, and I'm going to continue this tour, and we're going to get into the handmades. My handmade palettes are redonkulous, so I'm excited. Okay, so I reviewed 12 brands, Derwent, ink tints, not watercolors, ink-based. We're thinking optical brighteners, very strange little beasts. Not a fan. Literally in my review, I said ink tints, keep it to pencils and sticks. I was not mincing words about that. I've got my Mangayo, which let me tell you a little secret that I suspect about Mangayo. Same company that is white labeling for watercolor confections. Just a hunch, and others have this hunch. So be careful if you're buying both brands so you don't double up. Let's see, what else? Lucas is one of the reviewed. Shinhan tints, really excited about these. And if the tints perform like they do, then I can only imagine the rest of Shinhan. Shinhan SWC though. Important distinction, because the Shinhan traditional, I think it's Japanese, are like Ganzi Tenbai. So they are made for single layers. Etcher sent me this for free for an honest review. So that's included. Arteza is in the review. I just have a little palette of 12. They sent me those as well for an honest review. And again, these are all mid-range, what I'm calling mid-range, because these aren't quite your Winsor Newton Professional. These aren't quite your Daniel Smith. These aren't, you know what I'm saying? Like, these aren't your M. Grahams. They're superior in terms of quality to like even the Mozart's Komarebi set that I recommend. These are not beginner palettes necessarily, except maybe for the Arteza, but honestly, they perform decently well. So mid-range. These are also palettes. This is Rosa Gallery, so they're professional like brand. These are also palettes that kind of go under the radar if you're just shopping on Amazon. So I wanted to kind of show off some of these. This is Mission Gold. This bad boy was such a mystery to me. You'll have to watch the video to know why. Mission Gold is usually one of my favorites. This weird little creature absolutely baffled me in more ways than I can even like communicate right now. So anywho, really excited for this video. Would I say they're on the level of Cotman? Which one's on the level? Let me go back. Which ones are you asking? Yeah, Arteza's crack. Artezas do not do well from tube to cure in pans. Rosa is Ukraine, driving paints to Poland to ship out. Wonderful. Shinhan tints, and yeah, the Shinhan tints are fantastic. Another YouTuber explained that paints are being manufactured by different companies now, as differing from years ago, and some pigments that were great are now, yeah. Mission, I am fearing, because my Mission set is from almost, oh my gosh, probably 7 years ago. I'm concerned about Mission. I'm very, very concerned about Mission. That's all I'll say right now. Phoenix. I got some requests to review Phoenix. Yeah, we'll get to that. Here is Paul Rubens Gemstone. I told you about that gorgeous European palette. That is part of the review. And of course, friends, I mean, I couldn't not. I couldn't leave her out. She's definitely a she. Well, more feminine, traditional feminine characteristics. Let's see here. I hope I said that the right way. I'm not offending anyone. Really trying not to. Promise. Let me see if I can answer any questions. The video has been great. I dropped everything to watch it. I'm so glad you don't regret watching. Never heard of Phoenix. There's a reason. Anywho, friends, this has been such a blast. So hopefully I am working very closely with my editor to get this epic review video ready for Saturday. I hope that happens. And then I am going to be going live again on Monday. So if you're on Team Replay, you're going to go ahead, and this next video that pops up is going to be that video that I'm talking about, reviewing all of the handmade watercolors in my collection. And who knows, friends, I might find a few more professional brands that I have tucked away somewhere. But this has been a blast, friends. I so appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, I wish you loads and loads and loads of, what am I going to say? Happy painting.